Good morning, I'm Cari Davies. US President Joe Biden has defended his difficult decision to supply Ukraine with controversial cluster bombs. The weapons, which scatter scores of smaller so-called bomblets over a wide area, are banned in more than 120 countries, including the UK, because of the risk to civilians. The White House says it's to prevent Ukraine running out of ammunition, but there is unease among some NATO allies who are meeting the president in Europe at a summit next week. Robert Moore reports.
Cluster munitions have already been used by both sides in the Ukrainian war. Russians often firing them even into urban and civilian environments. It is a form of warfare banned by more than 100 nations. Not least because of the devastating effect of unexploded ordnance long after a conflict has ended. When a cluster munition detonates, hundreds of smaller bombs rain down, some of which do not explode on impact and are often picked up years later by unsuspecting children.
And it was a very difficult decision on my part. And by the way, I discussed this with our allies, discussed this with our friends up on the Hill. And we're in a situation where Ukraine continues to be brutally attacked across the board by munitions, by these cluster munitions that have dud rates that are very, very low, very high, that are a danger to civilians.
The Pentagon says it is a necessary response to the Ukrainians running short of ordinary shells. I put it to the Pentagon spokesman that America was helping the Ukrainians with a move that will appall many other countries, including allies.
This particular type of munition is something that will give them an advantage, give them the ability to change the equation on the battlefield, and so we felt that it was important to provide it to them now.
President Zelensky, who is visiting Prague, has long begged for faster delivery of weaponry, including cluster bombs, to help Ukraine with a counter-offensive that is struggling to punch through Russian defensive lines. The question is whether cluster munitions will change the dynamics on the ground in a conflict that has become a brutal battle of attrition. But there is undeniably another issue. Has America just surrendered the moral high ground?
Robert Moore reporting there. A high-profile BBC presenter paid a teenager for explicit pictures, according to reports in the Sun newspaper. The unnamed star is said to have paid tens of thousands of pounds to the individual, starting when they were 17. The BBC said it takes any allegations very seriously. The family of the 8-year-old who was killed when a car ploughed through an end-of-term tea party at her school have paid tribute to the little girl. Selina Lau died when a Land Rover crashed through a fence at the study prep school in Wimbledon. In a statement, her family said she was an intelligent and cheeky girl who was adored and loved by everyone. Another 8-year-old girl remains in a life-threatening condition. A general election is expected in the Netherlands this autumn after the country's government collapsed in a row over migration policies. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte has resigned, saying there are irreconcilable differences on the issue with the current coalition. Mr Rutte's Conservative VVD party had been trying to limit the flow of asylum seekers, but his plans were opposed by Liberal parties. And the last Brit standing is on centre court at Wimbledon later. British number one Katie Boulter faces her biggest challenge of the tournament so far as she takes on defending champion Elena Rybakina. She's flying the flag for home players after British men Cameron Norrie, Andy Murray and Liam Brodie were all knocked out yesterday. Well, that's it from all of us for now. I'll be back with the lunchtime headlines just after 1 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. Have a really great morning. Bye-bye.